Oliver and Dealante Daniels. The Wizards lost 2 games over the weekend, so we're going to recap both of those games. And we're going to talk about the young guys who played the best out of the young guys. Some younger guys from the G League were able to play in both games this weekend. And we're also going to talk about the biggest storyline for the offseason to look forward to. Is it Kristaps Porzingis coming back, or is it Bradley Beal's contract, or finding a point guard? Let's get started.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. This episode is also brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline.net has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, where the game starts. Alrighty, so what was your main takeaway about the Knicks game on Friday night?
Tank. That was the tank right there. We thought KP and KCP may play that game and then miss the Hornets game today. But once I saw KCP not playing and then I saw Kristaps Porzingis not playing, that kind of was writing on the wall for me. It was like, it's the tank. We're looking at draft position right now. We're looking at the young guys. I will say in that game, they started strong. They started strong. They were up like 10-0, but then eventually the Knicks took over, even with RJ Barrett not coming out, I believe, in the second half. So I would say the tank is the main takeaway. And I also thought Rui Hachimura, offensively, he had a good game. Offensively, I would say he had played well. But the tank, that was the main takeaway from that game, man. Tank.
Right. Yeah, like you said, they started off hot 10-0 or 10-1 or something like that. I thought their 3-point defense was pretty darn bad. Obi Toppin went crazy from the 3-point line. I thought Emmanuel quickly. It looked, like you said, it looked like they were trying to lose that game. They just wanted to develop guys. Jordan Shackle played. Vernon Carey got some playing time. Isaiah Todd got to play. Cassius got to play, which is good for the young guys. We've been said that they should have been letting some of the G League guys get some run when we knew we weren't going to make the play-in or the playoffs. But yeah, looking at the numbers, stat-wise, yeah, the Knicks shot 41% from the three, which was ridiculous. Obi Toppin, Evan Fournier, Manuel quickly. It just looked like they were at a shooting range and just had wide open threes. They shot 46% from the field as well. And shot 20 free throws. And the Wizards had 22 turnovers, so they played sloppy basketball. The Knicks only had 10 turnovers. And it just kind of went downhill from there after that. At halftime, it was close. And then in the second half, they just ran away. Yeah, Obi Toppin had 35 points off of only 22 shots, 6 for 9 from the 3-point line. Then he caught an alley-oop down the stretch as well. He just took over that game. He really did. But I thought some of the young guys did show some promise. I thought Rui played well. Denny had 3 assists and 4 boards, 11 points. Corey Kispert had 8 points. And then, I thought Rui played pretty well that game. Who do you think played the best out of the 3 in that Knicks game?
I would say that I guess I will go with Rui. I say offensively because, defensively, I mean, everybody kind of played rough, but, you would have liked to see him play better defensively. And that's the knock on Rui from a lot of people. Everybody knows, he plays well offensively, but the issue has always been he's a negative on the defensive side of the ball, and he only grabbed 3 rebounds. Corey Kispert grabbed 6 rebounds. He's, at that shooting guard position. So he's grabbing 6. Denny grabbed 4. You're a little used to Denny grabbing at least around 6, 7 as well. But for Rui and his size and him being down low, you would like to see him be more on the boards. And then defensively, you just would like to see him be a little better. But, I mean, it was a struggle for a lot of guys. Corey was a struggle. Denny was a struggle as well, even though he shot 5 for 11. I guess I would say Rui, I guess.
Yeah, I think Rui by far, 21 points. He was hitting the turnaround jumper a couple times. He got to his spots and finished well around the rim. If you do want to include Gafford to the list, he had 9 points and had 1 block. Only had 2 rebounds. That was a good point about the rebounds. That's something that we do want to see from Rui next year. If he is on the Wizards, you just never know what's going to happen with this team, the way this roster is going to be constructed. But if he is on the Washington Wizards, definitely needs to improve on rebounding. He has the athleticism, he has the height, he has the physical traits and physical tools to be a better rebounder. I think he can learn from what Kyle Kuzma did this season with rebounding the basketball. Thomas Bryant on bobblehead night, he's not a young guy, but he had 10 boards, 0 points. So he did contribute in some capacity. But I thought Daniel Gafford got downhill a couple times and finished well around the rim. Paulo Neto, this is how you know it was a tank game because nobody, if you look at the minutes too, nobody played 30 minutes. Everybody, the highest minutes were 28 minutes from Rui. Everybody else had like Corey played 26, Danny played 26 minutes. Paulo Neto played 20 minutes when he was collecting DNPs. So that kind of told you what kind of game it was going to be, and he had 14 points. I thought he played well, just trying to showcase his skills coming up for free agency. Personally, I don't think Neto's going to be back. I don't know how you feel about the situation, but I think Neto definitely tried to showcase himself, getting ready for free agency.
I agree with you. I don't think Neto's going to be back either. I think what Wes is looking for at that point guard spot is somebody like Sadaransky, bigger guard, who helps move things along, helps facilitate the ball. He had 8 assists in this game against the Knicks. Someone like Sadaransky. So I don't know if Ish Smith will be back, and I definitely don't think Neto will be back, guys, at the one who are smaller guards, and then on top of that, getting a lot of shots up. I don't think that's something Wes wants from his point guard position. So I think Neto will be gone as well.
Definitely. All right, so we're going to recap the game that just happened against the Hornets. But before we get into that, this episode is brought to you by Built Bar. Have you tried the Puffs? If you haven't, you're missing out on one of Built Bar's best tasting bars. Puffs are a fan favorite with some incredible flavors. Yummy cinnamon, churro, coconut marshmallow, banana cream pie is so good. They're going to be your new favorite. All Built Bars are covered in 100% real chocolate. Yes, Puffs included. 100% real chocolate. Low calorie, high protein. Replace your candy bars with these. They are better. A typical candy bar can be anywhere from 200 to 300 calories. Go to Built.com and scroll down to the macros chart. You'll be blown away. High protein, low cal, high fiber, and low carbs. Most Built Bars contain 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, and 17 grams of protein. Compare that to a candy bar, which usually has around 240 calories, 30 grams of sugar, and dozens of net carbs. Mint brownie, coconut almond, and new for this month, white chocolate, cookies and cream. They are all delicious, and new flavors are coming out all of the time. If they think a flavor might be good, they'll make it. It will be delicious, and it will be good for you. Go to Built.com, use promo code LOCK15 and get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCK15 for 15% off at Built.com. Thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen. For your next listen, check out the Locked On Now podcast. Nightly recaps of every NBA game with analysis from our local experts. It's free and available wherever you get podcasts. All right, so what was your thoughts on the Charlotte game?
Man, Charlotte was really good. I think I like the way that Denny came out. Denny came out hot. Denny came out on fire. Cooled off a little bit, but I like the way he came out. Rui, he played well offensively as well. Corey Kispert, all 3 of them, I feel like offensively had really good games. Rui grabbed 4 rebounds to go along with those 21 points and 2 assists and 1 steal. Corey had 20 points. He shot 50% from the 3, 4 for 8, 8 for 12 from the field. And then Denny was 5 for 12 from the field. Only 1 for 5 from 3, but he had 5 rebounds and 4 assists. So the 3 young guys, that's what I was mainly looking at. Daniel Gafford, if you want to include him, he shot 10 free throws, even though he only made 50%, 5 of 10. Had 7 rebounds and 2 blocks to go with that. So the young guys, that's what was the takeaway here for me. I know that's what a lot of the focus was. Denny and Rui hit over 30 minutes in this game. So that was my main focus. And I thought the young guys came out, and I think they played a decent game today.
Right. I thought my main takeaway was them letting Isaiah Thomas go crazy for a couple of minutes. Of course, it brought up bad memories of the Celtics series where it went to Game 7 and IT, dropped 50 points in one of those games. I want to say it was like Game 5 where he had 50 points. Yeah, he went to work. He had how much did he have? Isaiah Thomas had
14.
14. Yeah, 14 points in 13 minutes, 5 for 8 from the field, 2 for 4 from the 3-point line. There was a point where he just didn't miss a shot. He started off really hot. And then Rozier kind of just put the Wizards away. Had 25 points, 5 for 9 from the 3-point line. Rozier was like he was basically they couldn't stop him in the fourth quarter. I can't remember whether it was Neto or Ish guarding him, smaller guards guarding Terry Rozier. And Terry Rozier is not tall himself. He's probably like 6'1", 6'2", but he got any shot that he really wanted to get. The Hornets, they were 18 for 33 from the 3-point line. So another team goes crazy, bonkers from the 3-point line. They were on fire. LaMelo Ball hit a 3. He got hurt. Once he got hurt, we went on a run. Actually, we cut it to I think we took the lead in the third quarter, if I'm not mistaken. But it was up and down, running up and down kind of game. And they had 58 points in the paint to our 56. It was funny how Trez was trying to kind of flex on Gaff a little bit here and there, and then he lost the jump ball, so it was kind of you kind of look a little silly there. But I love Trez when he was here, I do. But he was trying to be a tough guy on Gaff. But yeah, that's where they lost. 3-point defense was awful, and yeah, the defense was just not. But like we've been saying, it's lottery odds, and that's what the Wizards wanted to do. Some young guys got to play. Rui, I thought he played well again. 20 points. I think he's had 20 points in the last 6 of the 8 games that he's played. He's had 20 points or more. Kispert, 4 threes, played well, moved well without the basketball. Danny, like you said, got hot. And then I think West took him out. He played 31 minutes tonight, which is a good amount of minutes. But just the flow of the game wasn't the same from the beginning. He got that steal from LaMelo, took it down and dunked it. Had a couple easy buckets here and there, and then it just kind of tailed off. After that, Vernon Carey thought he played well with the minutes. He got 11 points and 7 boards. Made the most of his minutes. Gafford, I thought he played after getting dunked on twice. He got dunked on pretty badly by PJ Washington and then Miles Bridges, and then he blocked Miles Bridges. So I like what I saw from Gaff out of the young guys too.
Yeah, it's just as a fan, it's another season that's just falls flat. I mean, just back to the lottery odds, the 9th seed, 9th odds, 10th odds, whatever. I mean, it's kind of deflating, man, to just look back on it, especially from how the Wizards started 10-3 to lottery odds again, and it's just disappointing. I think it's another disappointing end. And we're going to talk about next season and, I mean, off-season needs and the most important things and highlight moments from the season. But, man, it sucks, man, to have to continue once again to look at these draft prospects and look at these lottery odds and hope to get the 9th pick again. It's just, I mean, I hope things change in the future, man, because as a fan base, it's a little tiring. It's a little disheartening to have to continue to go through this same path over and over again. Last year was a little outlier year. They made to the round 1, but this year more the same.
Definitely, yeah. It's kind of like you're running on a treadmill there. But yeah, we can look at the lottery odds real quick. We were talking about this before the show. They are Houston's number 1, Orlando's number 2, Detroit has the 3rd best odds, OKC has the 4th, Pacers have the 5th, the Blazers have the 6th, Sacramento has the 7th, the Lakers have the 8th worst record, the San Antonio Spurs have the 9th worst record, and the Washington Wizards have the 10th worst record. Now, we were talking about that Spurs game. They're playing the Mavericks right now, correct?
Yeah. I don't know if it's right now, but they play the Mavericks. They play the Mavericks at 9:30 p.m.
9:30, okay. So I probably won't really watch much of that. But, yeah, so for the people who are paying attention to the lottery odds, the Wizards are – if the Spurs lose, they will be 35-47. The Wizards finish the season 35-47. So I got to look up the tiebreaker rules, or we got to look up the tiebreaker rules and see how it works. I do know the Spurs swept us, so I feel like if that's the rule about who gets the worst record or the better odds in the lottery, I feel like the Wizards should get it. If the Spurs win tonight and end up 35-47, the Wizards should get it because the Spurs swept us.
Yeah, I mean, I would like for it to be like that too. I mean, I know last year they did coin flip to determine, the tiebreakers with teams that ended with the same record. So will have to be a luck of the draw type of thing for the Wizards. But yeah, we talk about before those ninth odds, getting the ninth best odds, how that helps percentage wise. Right now, the Wizards are 10. If they ended at 10, they have a pretty much 14% chance. But if they got up to that ninth spot, they have a 20% chance to get to that top 4 spot. And that would be huge for the Wizards.
Definitely, it's something that we need because it's hard to attract free agents here. So they need to get the best
Yeah.
odds that they can get, and of course, they got to be able to develop these guys and get these young guys ready to go. But next, we're going to talk about the biggest storyline going into the offseason. We're going to read a couple of you guys' comments, and then we'll head out. But before we do that, we have a quick word from D.
BetOnline.net is your number one source for all your betting stats and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's basketball playoffs and the start of the Major League Baseball season. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, from live betting to playoffs, esports, and more. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. BetOnline, where the game starts.
All right. So, which storyline stands out to you, or which one is the most important? The options are Bradley, and this was from NBC Sports Washington, the post game. This is where I got this from. The Bradley Bill's free agency, Kristaps Porzingis coming back healthy and playing for the Wizards next year, or the last one was finding a point guard for the Washington Wizards.
I think the most important right now, the number one, is Bradley Beal, because that kind of determines the direction of your franchise. That determines a lot. The Wizards don't really do anything until they know if Brad's coming or not, because if Brad comes back, then all right, we start trying to work around Brad. What's the best we can do? What's the trading looking like? Or if Brad leaves and is like, okay, rebuild, complete rebuild. All right, now we start looking at young guys. Everything, your mindset changes as an organization. So Bradley Beal is the key to everything. Once the Bradley Beal domino falls, then everything else in the offseason, we can start looking at, all right, what kind of point guard do we want? Blah, 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 blah. Because it's all about right now. Brad comes back, you build around Brad. If he doesn't, then you flip into rebuild mode. So he's the big domino right now. So I say that's number one.
Yeah, I echo you on that one too because I think everybody thinks there's 100% Brad is coming back, which could be the case. He's staring 5 years, $242 million in the face, and if he goes anywhere else, he would make $60 million less. So I think conventional thinking would think that he's going to take the big money. He's going to be the face of the franchise where he is the assistant GM. But I do feel like there's a switch that could flip off in his head where the Miami Heat make a very strong pitch, the Sixers make a strong pitch, or another team makes a strong pitch where, hey, we're closer to a championship. It's not going to be as much money, but they can recruit him hard. And they can make a strong. Bam Adebayo's been wearing his jersey for years. They've been trying to get him there for years, and so we already heard they're going to make a strong push to get him there. And just looking at the weather in Miami compared to DC, there's just different factors. So I personally, if I had to bet money on BetOnline, I think Brad is coming back. But in the back of my mind, I am thinking that, hey, there might be one morning where Brad's like, hey, I just want to win. I know I'm still going to get paid solid money, not the $242 million. But, and he said, this is my first time being in this opportunity or being in this opportunity in a long time, being a free agency. So he likes it. He wants to enjoy it. He likes that other teams actually want him. Teams have been wanting him for years. And you know how recruiting goes. It's just like college recruiting, going to a college, going on a college visit. They lay out the red carpet. They try to get you to come to this school. We're going to do this and do this for you. Pat Riley and Bam and Jimmy, I can see them trying to recruit them really hard and roll out the red carpet, everything on the big screen, showing what they can do for Bradley Beal. I can see that happening. I could clearly see that happening. But like I said, who knows? We'll see. And I know a lot of Wizards fan base would rather see the Wizards go in a different direction. We'll see. We already know what the front office wants to do. They want Brad to come back. So there's really no point in talking about the Wizards doing something different. But yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think that because there is no talking about getting another point guard if Brad doesn't come back. It's rebuild mode. It's lottery time probably for the next couple of years. It's rebuild. And then the whole Porzingis thing, if Brad doesn't come back, then does it really matter? If they're really going to rebuild, they might put Porzingis on the trade block just to start over. So
Kuzma.
Right, Kuzma, all the other guys. So yeah, every decision really is based on Brad, because if he leaves, like I said, you might as well recoup some draft picks, let Rui develop, let Denny develop. Because if you keep Brad, like people, they might have to move one of the young three just to bring in a DeJounte Murray, like you said, or a Malcolm Brogdon, other big name point guards. They have to trade somebody. So somebody else on the roster, probably Rui Kuz or Denny or Kispert, they're probably going to have to move one of those guys just to bring in one of the big name point guards.
Yeah. So, it all depends on Brad. And that's another thing, too, in the offseason. Do they move Kuzma or Rui or Denny, etc.? Because, Rui has the contract stuff coming up soon. And has he shown enough? I know this year really hurt him because he missed half the season and is with a new coaching staff. And then he wasn't really getting minutes like that. Originally, we thought he was a shoo-in to start. Then Kuzma started playing really well. And so, it's so much that's happened. There's a lot of storylines for the Wizards this offseason. But Brad's definitely numero uno.
Yes, sir. Before we get to the comments, I do want to shout out Vlogger. That is my wife. We're live right now. She says, "Hey, fellas, any hope next season will be different, or will it be the same old stuff?" We'll get to that question later, but she did have a bold prediction before the season even started. She said the Wizards would finish better than the Lakers, and we all thought the Lakers were going to be a championship caliber team. The Wizards were like, okay, we'll probably make the playoffs or the play-in. And the Wizards, they did finish better than the Lakers. I know both teams didn't even make the play-in, but technically the Wizards did finish better. The Wizards are 35-47, and the Lakers are most likely going to be 32-50. So shout out to her for that bold prediction.
That's a W prediction right there. That's a real bold one. Now, I don't think a lot of people would agree with that to start, but hey, that's a good one.
Right. So let's get to some of these comments here. This is from DY. He says y'all would be better off signing and trading Bradley Beal.
Yeah, if that's an option too. If he says, "Hey, I want to go over to Miami," and the Wizards can get a sign and trade done, to recoup some stuff back, definitely, sign and trade rather than let him just walk. So I think a lot of fans would agree with that too. Sign and trade Beal, etc., and let's see what we can get. Get a Tyler Hero, etc. So I wouldn't be mad at a sign and trade if it came down to it.
Right, yeah. If I'm doing a sign and trade with the Miami Heat, I would definitely take Tyler Hero. I would give me Duncan Robinson, give me a couple of picks as well, and maybe Max Struss or Strus, however you pronounce his name. Every time we play against Max Strus, he cooks us every time. So I'm like, okay, let me get him too with Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero. Chimp Slayer. Okay, performance for the tall end bench. Yeah, Vernon Carey. I think we talked about him a little. I thought he played pretty well tonight against the Hornets. DY said Wizards best bet trade Beal and KP. Yeah, basically he's reiterating what he just said about trading Beal. He says trade Porzingis as well. Kyle Linden or Kyle Ledesma says we need to fire Wes Unseld Jr. He's just not good for us, and we need a better point guard. Resign Ish Smith, release Thomas Bryant and Neto.
There is a group of people out there that feel like Scott Brooks would have got this Wizards team to the play-in, at least the play-in, so that in another way is basically just saying, I don't know if that's another way of saying fire Wes for them, but Wes has gotten his fair share of heat from the fan base, that included some he needs to be fired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Wes had a lot of growing pains. The Clippers loss, bring that up many times because it was just such a crazy loss that should never ever happen. Adjustments, the offense, players complain about the offense, being a leader of men, allegedly the prisoners are running the asylum. So I think he learned how to deal with certain personalities. And that's a big thing about being a coach. Are you able to connect with guys? Are you able to control a locker room? Are you able to establish roles with guys? That's something huge that I think next year that they're definitely going to make sure that happens. Because if they don't, then Kyle, you know, I don't think they should fire West, but yeah, it will be closer to that if something like that happens again.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was saying, and Hoop District tweeted about Wes Unseld Jr. in the X's meetings with Wizards players. He was like, I want some feedback to be a better coach. So, you know, I'm glad he's, you know, acknowledging that there's things he can improve on.
Right, definitely. Yeah, that's the only way you can get better. And then the whole thing about releasing Thomas Bryant and Ish, or was it Neto? You said
Resigning Ish, and then he
Yeah.
said release Neto and Bryant.
Yeah, so we won't be releasing them. They are free agents, so they
Mm-hmm.
can decide wherever they would like to go. But I don't see either coming back, to be honest. Chip Slayer, so some more Wes Unseld Jr. slander here. He said he's not a head coach, he's not ready. We'll see. The jury's still out. It's very early.
Second year is going to be important, especially if Bill's back. Second year, if this like this again, you know, he may need to say goodbye early.
Right. S Cope QX S Dope or S Cope X says should have been losing once they knew they couldn't make the play. I don't disagree with you at all on that.
Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah, we both said that a while ago. He also says this team got to draft superstars. No free agent wants to come here. Yeah, we are.
Yeah,
we know that.
If you're a team like the Wizards in a small market, guys aren't going to come in free agency. You got to hit on your draft picks and like hope that you get somebody who's like an all-star type of player in that later round that is in top 4.
Right. Chimp Slayer once again says disappointed about this season, but I am looking forward to next season.
Yeah, stay positive, man.
Right. Vlog her. She says, "Hey fellas, any hope next season will be different or will be the same old stuff?"
Man, I want to say it'll be different. I really do. You know, they had me this year at the beginning. We thought it was going to be different, and it wasn't. You know, so I mean, I'm undecided right now. I got to see because they ain't getting me this year like they did. They ain't getting me next season like they did at the beginning of this season. No more 10-3. I'm talking crazy.
Right. Yeah. We'll always have that banner from the 10-3 start and Trez being MVP of the number 1 in the MVP ladder. We'll always have that in the rafters of Capital One Arena. Biggie C says, "Shout out to me, Wizards, with the number 4 or 5." That would be lovely. I mean, that's what the Wizards need. They need lottery luck.
Yeah.
Chimp Slayer says Brad is coming back to be paid.
I agree. I agree with that.
I'm 70%, 30%. He's coming back. It probably really higher, probably 80-20%. Gerald says, Janelli 1810 says, "I say Kuzma gets traded."
Yeah, I mean, if it comes down to it, you know, depends on who it's for. You know, I could see a world where that potentially happens. I think there's a couple guys on the team that could potentially be moved to upgrade the roster. I wouldn't say Kuzma's out of that realm, so it's possible.
Yeah, anything's possible. I don't think they should, unless it's for a bona fide, legitimate star. If it's for like a middle tier player, there's really no point because, like, say for example, Jeremy Grant. Why would you trade Kuzma for Jeremy Grant? There's just no point in doing that. Unless it's for a really legitimate star point guard or just a star in general, then sure. But if it's in to bring another guy who's not an all-star or not even a top 50 player, there's really no point. I mean, Kuzma was more clutch than Bradley Beal. He was our most clutch player on the team this year. The triple-double games, the 25 rebound games. Kuzma was legit this year. He really was. He was our number 1 option for a lot of games where we had to rely on him because other guys weren't able to step up in the clutch. Like, we literally had to rely on him to hit big threes just to win games against the Pistons and the Magic and almost beating the Bulls, but DeMar hit a crazy shot. Like, Kuzma was legit this year. I got to give him his props. I thought he played well amidst all the fighting. Like, we never heard him fighting anybody in the locker room or anything like that. So, Kuzma played his butt off. I would like him to stay, but if he's traded for a better player, like a superstar, then sure. This guy's from Israel. Shout out to him. He says the Wizards need pick Jaden Ivey.
If they get lucky enough, you know, that all depends on the luck, man. All depends on the lottery luck.
Right. Some of these questions, I'm gonna write these down because there's so many. Thank you guys for writing down questions. I'll probably do a mailbag since the season's over. Biggie C said, "Who would you like to see come back next season if you can only pick 7?" That's a good question. We'll probably mailbag that one. But D, if you want to answer that one real quick, you could.
Come back. I wouldn't be mad at Ish coming back. There's not a lot. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at Gil coming back. Neto can go, TB can go. Is there any other people who are like key rotational players on the team that are gone? Because everybody else is coming back, really. That's like key.
Yeah, I think
who plays. There's like outside of Ish, maybe, and then Gil. But everybody else, like I said, TB and Neto can go. But everybody else is like, that's key, comes back. Well, yeah. And I guess I have to include Beal. So Beal, unless they can sign and trade him and get like some really good stuff back, I would say bring him back. Unless you can get like a good coup for him in a sign and trade deal.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. I mean, Ish. Yeah, he could. Ish. Yeah. Sato's a free agent. If I had to pick between the two, I might have to go with Sato off the last.
Oh my God, I forgot Sato too. Sato definitely bring Sato back. He's number one. Outside of Bill, Sato's number one on my bring back list.
Sato, and like I said, I was not the fan. I was really not happy that they brought him back initially, but after seeing what he did, and he played really well with guys, and he got facilitated the offense. He's exactly what we needed. Now, I don't want him to start. He should not be our starting point guard, but he would be a good guy off the bench, facilitating the ball, getting guys involved, and he's better defensively than what we had at the point guard position. And he's 6'7". Him and Porzingis had really good chemistry. So Porzingis coming back, of course, I think Sato and him play really well together. So I would definitely bring him back. But yeah, like you said, Ish, Neto, Thomas Bryant, thank you guys for your services. TB, the knee injury really set him back. I really hate that knee injury happened to him because I thought he was on pace for having a really good year with Russ being the point guard last year before he got hurt. So it's just unfortunate he came back. And we just had too many people on the roster, too many bigs at the time. So it was just rough for him. Janelli, if Bill goes, D basically hit on that about getting draft picks for Bradley Beal. Yeah, Biggie Steve, Jaden Ivey, he's my favorite prospect in the draft out of everybody. I just like him the most out of everybody. He's my number one. I think everybody has their own opinion. Like people like Paola, people like Chet, people like Jabari. But what is the saying? The eye to the beholder, or whatever it is. To my eye, Jaden is the best out of everybody. And then Fred Fezzo says, "Who are a few of the draft choices other than those you mentioned?" That's something we'll talk about in the mailbag. I'll talk about in the mailbag. Let's see here. We'll probably do one more, and then we will get going here. NBA land says, should the Wizards trade for Jeremy Grant? We just talked about that as an example. But D, you can say yes or no on that one.
I'm good. I'm good.
Right. Anthony Tony says, how do you feel about Rajon Rondo on a veteran minimum off of the bench?
I wouldn't mind that. I definitely, like if it came down to it, like Sato and Rondo, I wouldn't mind that. Rondo could be a good vet off the bench for sure.
Okay. I don't know how that personality of Rondo would mesh with Wes. Rondo's a strong personality. He's towards the end of his career. I think he could help. But I think the Wizards need a shooter at the point guard position. But I think Rondo could help a little bit. But once again, he's not a needle mover. And I would go in a different direction at point guard. I just think Rondo, he's been on multiple teams in the last couple of years. Didn't work out with the Lakers. Not sure how he's doing with the Cavs. Didn't work out with the Mavericks either. Didn't really work out with the Bulls. But he did play well in the championship, in the bubble. That is true. He's better in the playoffs than he is in the regular season. Playoff Rondo, sure, but regular season Rondo, I don't really see him helping much with the Washington Wizards, to be honest. But that's a good question there. But yeah, D, this is your last episode, man. So how you feeling?
Yes, guys. This will be my last episode. It was a fun season. at the beginning, definitely was a fun season. The Wizards definitely bamboozled us. But I mean, it was fun, man. Doing it with Ed, talking to you guys. It was fun times, terrific. The 10-3 start, everybody was hyped. I mean, I love the energy. I hope the Wizards can do that next season and continue it. But yeah, I mean, this season was very fun. Sadly, I'm not going to be returning, but I mean, it was terrific, guys. Everything was fun. It was great. Had a lot of fun. Definitely.
Definitely. What was your best moment or worst moment this year?
Best moment, I would say just being able to talk that talk when the Wizards were hot. I mean, they beat the Celtics in overtime, they beat the Pacers in overtime. It was some, when Dinwiddie was playing well. I mean, it was good, man. They had the 4 or 5 game winning streak. Wizards were number 1 in the Eastern Conference for like 2 seconds. That was fun. When it got the worst moment, I would say, is the Clippers game. Oh, nothing's ever going to top that Clippers loss. The Clippers loss, nothing. Nah, man. Nah. Nothing's topping that Clippers loss. That was terrible.
That was an epic rant, though. I loved how you went in on just the whole Wizards organization, just talking about nobody wants to go to the games, just the whole 9. I mean, you went in, and it needed to be said. I was just sitting back. I was like, I'm gonna just let D go off on the team, on the whole Washington Wizards front office organization. I'm gonna just let you do your thing.
Yeah, I was that day had me upset like no other, man.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
yeah, I was pissed off too. Biggie C says goodbye, D. Matt says Daniels ain't coming back next season? Question mark. And Vlog her says good luck, D. Make sure to come back as a guest at least.
Yes, definitely. I'm definitely going to be back as a guest. Definitely. I'm definitely going to be as a guest.
Definitely. I might have to have you as a weekly guest or a 5-day-a-week guest.
Yes. Anthony, it's just, I just got some things, going on that I want to focus on, but like I said, Ed, I mean, I'm definitely going to be back as a guest on some guest episodes, talk some Wizards with my guy. Definitely. You'll see me back.
Mm-hmm. Did you hear I said a 5-day-a-week guest?
Yeah. 5-day-a-week guest.
Yeah. D, you might pull a Tom Brady on us. But yeah, we'll end on this last one. John Boo said re-sign Deolante.
Oh, re-sign me? Hey.
And Chimp Slayer says peace, love, health, and happiness, D.
Appreciate you, Chimp. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, guys. We want to thank you guys for tuning in this season. We know it's been an up and down year. Thank you guys for rocking with us. We appreciate you guys. A lot of ups and downs. And make sure you guys subscribe to us on YouTube and hit the notification bell as well. But of course, thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On NBA from the first jump ball of the play-in tournament to the last possession of the finals. Locked On experts take you deep inside the playoffs with insight and analysis affecting all 30 teams. Thank you guys, and hail to the Wizards. Peace.